Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Pyramid Science Foundation's weekly live stream. My name is Lisa Richards with Pyramid Surge, and we have with us Charlie Zeese from Stargate Pyramids as always. We're going to
Hello,
start.
everyone. My first question, Lisa, is where'd you get that good-looking picture of me? You must have photoshopped that for a long time.
I took that actually at one of the last expo you and I were at together.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So I pulled that out of there and changed my picture too. So figured it was time for some new pics.
Well, yeah, that's about the best picture I've ever seen of myself. So
We'll
thank
see.
you.
There you go. Well, so we have a couple announcements to start off before we introduce our amazing guest today, which I'm sure a lot of you know him. He's been with us numerous times. He's an amazing person. But Charlie, why don't you start with your announcements?
Yeah, a lot of these are similar to last week. We have a closeout sale going on at Stargate Pyramids. These are returns, exchanges, sometimes pyramids we never sold initially, and so forth. So 50 to 60% off. Go to stargatepyramids.com. You'll see the closeout sale at the very top of the homepage. Again, I'm going to be on the Lazarus Initiative on Saturday, the 30th of this month with Nick Alviar. We're going to be talking about Tartarian architecture, the documentary series that he's putting together, and my role in a portion of that to talk about ancient Tartarian free energy technology. And along those lines, I also, this is the first time to really announce this, but we're going to be, after all of the years of research, I finally decided it's time to test these free energy techniques. And Sri Ram Ka and his wife Kira have a pyramid down in Ecuador with this geometry. It's 72 feet tall. We're going to be starting some proofs of concept experiments on free energy with that pyramid here in the near future. So we'll certainly be telling you more about that as time goes on. Um, the pyramid stabilizer that I mentioned last week, we were able to have a Zoom on that last week. I've got parts ordered, so it shouldn't take more than probably another week or so before I get all the parts together and test that out. But we're going to have that available. For those of you who know that the zip tie, when you try to put it together, sometimes they didn't kind of stay in the right place. This is going to stabilize everything perfectly for that going forward. I got another model of an extra large, I'm going to call this 7.5 feet tall. That's going to be out in about 2 weeks as well. So I look forward to getting all these projects underway here in very, very short order. Okay, back to you.
Well, I have to apologize. My dogs are going crazy. So I swear, every time I have a live stream, I'm here by myself all day. And as soon as I start a live stream, somebody pulls in my driveway, a delivery guy or something. But I apologize for my dogs barking a little. But I just wanted to touch base on a couple things, guys. Censoring is going on again with Facebook and YouTube. So if you can follow us on Rumble, you won't be missing out. So you'll stay in the loop. So please follow us on Rumble. The link is in the first sentence of the description below. So it's easy for you to find. And then we just wanted to go over a couple things. Sri Ram Ka is the designer of the Pyramid of Peace. It's beautiful. And Charlie was talking about him a little bit ago. He's actually having an ascension renaissance, and that's going to be on the equinox. So the link is in the description as well if you want more information on this. If you can't attend, you can watch via Zoom. You can join via Zoom by just a donation. And he's going to have about 25 indigenous tribes there that gather on the equinox for the Pyramid of Peace. This is actually on the inside of it. Charlie and I can't wait to go there. It looks amazing. Just the energy of it. So they have a smaller pyramid on the inside of the Pyramid of Peace. And then this is the outside, this large meditation pyramid. Super, super large. Okay. Give me one
You
second.
know, I have one more, Lisa, if that's okay, before we start.
Yeah.
I am planning on doing a documentary to introduce the research that I've done to the entire field of fluid dynamics, which is a part of mechanical engineering. I am looking for people who are familiar with that subject matter. I'm looking to figure out how to introduce this material. I have a bunch of YouTube sites that I want to send this to. There's also uh, software companies that try to model this. I have a list of those as well, but I'm looking for anyone who has contacts within that industry who are looking to kind of look outside the box. All of my research is demonstrating that this is something that's missing and that it's fundamental to that whole field of minimizing drag and allowing for better efficiency in flight and water vehicles. So anyone who has friends who might be interested in helping out with that, or yourself, obviously, contact me at Charlie@Stargate Pyramids. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. So now it's time for our amazing guest. Welcome, Tomaz Mueller.
Hello, hello.
Tomaz is an author, an energy healer, a well-being artist, and practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine with more than 30 years experience in his field. He helps people to unlock their inner healing potential by supporting and inspiring them to achieve optimal well-being and internal freedom through the use of ancient Ayurveda, quantum healing, and other aspects of Vedic science. So, welcome, Tomaz. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. This is an exciting topic, and a lot of people are interested in it.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Charlie, for having me on again. It has been a while, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Right, so when you contacted me a couple of weeks ago, you suggested to think or to talk about detoxification, and we will have a chat about the role of intermittent fasting and also parasites and parasite cleansing. So these are three massive big topics, and in fact we could spend an entire session just on one of the topics. So I will do my very best to cover as much as possible within the hour time frame that we have.
Awesome. And we're going to save some time, about 15 minutes if we can, towards the end for questions. So, anyone watching, if you have any questions, get them together, post them in the comments, and we'll have Tomaz answer those.
Wonderful. So, so just maybe to get started, why did you think about this topic, Lisa, when we sort of communicated some time ago? What made you choose that?
So myself, it's actually very weird. A couple of years ago, just out of the blue, I started developing this weird allergy to dust. Just out of the blue, like never allergic to it before in my life. But now anytime I get near dust or by it, my lips get so swollen. It looks like I have a botched lip job. My skin starts peeling and splitting. It gets really painful. It feels like third-degree burns all over my face. It takes me about 2 weeks to heal from it. And it's hard because I'm around dust all the time. I have a chicken coop. I have rabbits. We live on a farm. We live in the country in the middle of the woods, and I'm an outdoor girl. So I love being outdoors. So I want to figure out the best way to improve my body. And I think with all the mayhem going on the past few years, I think it may be spike proteins. I'm not sure. It could be electrical magnetic frequencies, the increase of those. It could be parasites. It could be anything really at this point. But I want to get my body back to the way it's supposed to be, the way it's going to work optimally. And I think these are going to be the best ways to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I believe it's probably an accumulation of all of those different aspects over a period of time, and definitely as we become more aware of our physical body, our physical well-being, what happens at the same time is that we also become more sensitive. I don't like to use the word sensitive, but we become more responsive to whatever goes on in our environment.
Mhm.
And environmental toxins play a huge role with regards to allergies and allergic reactions. And if I think about it from a holistic perspective, I believe very often we just or mainly focus on the physical aspects of detoxification. But there are so many layers when it comes to detoxification, thinking about energetic detox, thinking about what happens on the level of the mind, your thought patterns, all of those stream into a physical body that at some stage gets to a point where it just is in a situation where it wants to get rid of as quick as possible whatever doesn't serve the physical body any longer. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So let's look at detoxification, starting off maybe from a physical perspective. So if you understand, Ayurveda looks at detoxification by understanding the concept of AMA. AMA, now being cheeky, American Medical Association. No, I'm just kidding. AMA is toxins. It basically means anything undigested food substances, anything that we put into our system that cannot be processed and digested properly, forms a substance that can be called ama. This is a very, very simplified explanation of what toxins mean. It's much more complex than that. And I'm sure if there are any Ayurvedic professionals on the call, they will agree with me that it is much more complex. But um, Ayurveda, in a way, is also very simple. So, how can we ensure that whatever we put into our system is transmuted, transformed, metabolized properly? And this is number one by increasing our metabolism. So, looking at any metabolic activity, because if our fire or Agni in Ayurveda is low, whatever we put into our system cannot be processed. That means it starts to accumulate and the body starts to react and to respond. So, my aim for this discussion is to give us many practical tips as possible. So, one way to kindle your Agni, to kindle your metabolism, is a simple remedy in Ayurveda, and I'm sure the two of you have heard about it, is the slowly sipping of hot water.
Yeah.
So, hot water, when you boil it, it changes its molecular structure so it becomes more easily absorbable, which means more easy to digest. It sounds weird because people think, oh, it's just water. Why do I need a strong digestion? Or how can water not be digested? You will be surprised. A lot of people actually, number one, struggle with the consumption of water. Number two, um, especially if you think about water and weight loss, people sometimes even gain weight when they are just on a water fast or water detox. I will talk about the fasting in a minute. So, boiling the water for a couple of minutes in the morning, good quality water, and you have got the pyramids, charge your water under the pyramid and put it in a thermos flask and sip a few sips every about 20 minutes or half an hour is one of the quickest ways to increase your metabolic activity and to start the detoxification pathways. There are various pathways of detoxification. Number one is the skin. Number two is your digestive tract. It's like elimination channels such as the colon, the urinary tract system. So these are various pathways, but what the hot water does, it is a wonderful way of cleansing your gastrointestinal tract and cleansing your urinary tract of any toxins. Where do toxins accumulate? Simply in the liver. The liver is our greatest and detox organ besides the skin, and people forget that actually our skin detoxifies as well. It's a strong detoxification organ. So sipping that hot water, and hot in a sense, like it's not about quantity, it's not about sipping, let's say, large big glasses within a short period of time, gobbling it down. It's about slow sipping of the hot water, which allows the water to be fully absorbed and goes into the cells and releases toxins from the cells. And trust me, I've been in the field of Ayurveda for 35, 36 years now, and this is my number one go to when I start to feel any need for detoxification. It can really be very, very effective. And when I say hot water, hot water. So, not adding any herbs or spices or anything in it, just simply, and sometimes less is more, so just keeping it simple with the hot water. And what you will find is it starts to improve your metabolism. That means the food that you eat gets digested much quicker and the absorption gets improved. So when there are allergies, very often we also have to think about the absorption. Okay, yes, we may have an allergy, and then we may think, okay, I need to have a healthy clean diet. I don't believe in diets, by the way. We have a healthy clean nutritional regime, and that's enough. It's not enough, because you can have the best food, you can have the best supplements, but if your body is not able to absorb it, then what's the point? You flush it out of the system and it comes out the other end. You produce very expensive urine if you go into supplementations, but that's pretty much it. So, absorption is crucial in this process of detoxification. Charlie, do you have a question? Looks like.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Go ahead, Tomas.
Okay. So just please feel free to interrupt me. And I do very well when I'm being interrupted and ask questions, and this triggers different things. I've got the stuff in my
Mhm,
head, but with
mhm.
questions, it will possibly enrich the conversation.
Well,
Well, so
I had an intuitive question. I guess you intuited that I had one, or I demonstrated it. What does drinking hot water, once it's past the stomach and the digestive system, does it help to clean out your intestines and other things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another thing is, when we think about allergies, very often excretory organs, let's say, for example, the colon is
Hmm.
compromised. So we don't eliminate properly. So,
Right.
number one is it will trigger proper elimination of stool. And in Ayurveda, we need to get used of the fact of talking about poo. We
Yeah.
are not going to go too deep into that, but it's very important um, to look at not only what comes in our body, but also what comes out the other end. So, what the hot water does is it helps to keep you regular. And by keeping you regular, the colon starts to eliminate, and as the toxins are being pulled out of the system through the slow sipping of hot water, this can help improving any possible allergies or allergic reactions. Of course, I'm very clear here, it's not that simple. So, if you have a medical condition, it's of course always better to work with a health professional. But we are talking about safe methods that anybody can use to do a
Mhm.
gentle detox or to start the process of healing, irrespective if you have any respiratory allergies, any skin reactions, or anything. That would be my number one go to.
Mhm.
so it would help too then if you um, focus your intention on what you want the water to do and kind of program the water with your intention before ingesting it. Maybe thinking of it as a magnet, attracting all the bad things in your body before it's eliminated or something, you know?
Yep, that's a wonderful comment here, because that adds another layer to your detoxification. The power of intention, the power of the mind. And we know that water holds memory.
Mm-hmm.
So I charge the water um, with the pyramid, but also I've got a frequency device that I use to charge the water. And then, like you say, the intention that you put in the water will absolutely enhance that process. And it is so simple, Lisa and Charlie. It's so cheap. There's no excuse of why can't we sip hot water, but it is about um, getting used and finding a rhythm. Okay, so if you have about the water, put it in a thermos flask, maybe 1.5 liters, and have the goal to have the bottle, the hot water or thermos flask empty by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's already a brilliant way of getting rid of toxins.
Wow.
Okay. And then, you know, you said the hot water, the heat makes it more digestible. So you don't have to drink as much. Like a lot of people think you have to drink your body's weight in water or something like that every day. That's
Yes,
just really overbearing. And I think a lot of people they don't drink water just because of that. They don't see it as an accomplishment for them to drink that much in the first place. But another thing that you can do is put the water inside the pyramid, like you said, inside the Stargate meditation pyramid. It actually makes the water the same thing. It's kind of like a softer mouth feel, smaller particles. You're able to absorb more of it, a wetter feeling, more
absolutely.
hydration.
Absolutely. And this is just one of the many benefits. It helps clearing your mind, because we know that the gut and our mind is very well connected. If we have a sluggish digestive system, we can't think straight, we can't think properly, difficulty to concentrate. But it will also reduce cravings. So that's the beauty of using hot water on a regular basis. It helps reducing cravings. Here comes another layer to this. If we suffer from any allergies, or if we suffer from too much toxins or too many toxins in the body, then um, very often it can be because we start to eat without having enough gaps or breaks in between. So in Ayurveda, we have a sort of a concept that helps us understand what is your metabolic type. Do you have an irregular digestive system, metabolic type? Do you have a sluggish digestive system, or is it too fast? The hot water will regulate irrespective of which metabolic type you are. In an Ayurvedic consultation, of course, you can figure out, the practitioner will be able to help you, guide you, what kind of metabolic type you are. But in general, that will then help reducing cravings. So we stop snacking in between. Okay. The best way to explain this is, now think about a fire. Lisa, you live on a farm, you live outside, and I'm sure you will play outside and you make fires, bonfires.
Oh,
And
yes.
what happens if you start to kindle the fire and you keep putting wood onto the fire without allowing the fire to actually catch properly? What will
Oh,
happen to the fire?
it suffocates and goes out.
Exactly. So that is a cause of toxins starting to accumulate in the physical body. So allowing enough time to allow the food to be digested is another way of how you can enhance your detoxification process. Then, I mean, there's so much that we can talk about. And once you get me started, as you know, I find it difficult to stop.
Well,
Um,
going off of the eating portion of it, do you still continue to just sip on the hot water while you're eating? Because I know sometimes it's recommended not to drink anything while you're eating.
Good point. Good point. So, what I would recommend is that you don't drink about half an hour before your meal, but
Okay.
then you can have small sips of hot water during your meal. Don't water down your meal too much by drinking lots of water, like glasses of water. And I know that a lot of people are used to drinking cold water with ice. To be
Hmm.
honest, this is the bad news. It's one of the worst things that you can do for your metabolism, to have ice cold water with ice with your meals, because it immediately reduces your digestive fire, even in hot summer times. And this is the paradox of it. People think, oh, it's hot outside. I don't want to drink hot water. I'm just going to have cold water. But that will actually reduce the flame. You reduce your metabolism. You don't need to have, let's say, herbal teas, hot teas all the time. But if you choose in summertime to have small sips of hot water with your meal, that's fine. Small sips, half a glass with your meal, hot, not cold, that will not interfere. But yes, you are correct. Drinking large quantities of water will completely water down your metabolism and will slow down your acne or your internal fire.
Hmm. I like drinking room temperature water, so the hot water won't be a problem. I've never liked cold water. And so I guess that's my body telling me something that it's not really actually good for you.
Wonderful. I mean, then let's just sort of switch a little bit to what spices can you use in your food to help strengthening your metabolism.
Okay.
If you think about it, I'm just going to throw in a couple of Ayurvedic principles. So, if you think about metabolism, it's linked to what we call in Ayurveda pitta. Pitta is the element of fire. So, fire and water combines pitta. That can manifest, for example, skin conditions, very much are an indication that your pitta is out of balance. If you have allergies, then it is also related to the element of kapha, which is earth and water. Kapha is like accumulation of toxins within the framework of a weak metabolism over time that can lead to allergies. So, where was I going to go with this? So, pitta, yes. So, think about foods that actually help gently stimulating your metabolism. Ginger is number one. So add fresh
Ginger.
ginger to food, fresh ginger to the spices in your cooking. And you can do actually a lot with the spices in your cooking. So let's think, if you have a heavy meal, and if I think about a heavy meal, and please forgive me, I love pasta. I don't know one. I must have been born in Italy in my past life because I love. But I know that pasta and cheese is a recipe for disaster for me. It makes me feel really sluggish. So, but if I add, for example, to a cheesy sauce, pepper, work with black pepper, if I add fresh ginger to it, spices that kindle your metabolism, and in a small amount, you can add even garlic to your food, that will all help breaking down any heavy foods that may cause your metabolism to slow down, that may cause your digestion to the accumulation of toxins in the body. So, also think about, we are still talking about the physical body. Um, think about the liver. The liver is one of the largest detox organs in the body. So, what helps detoxifying is, I always say, if you have any allergies, if you have any skin issues or rashes, liver and green. Think green. Green leafy vegetables, green drinks, green smoothies. And when I say smoothies, I don't mean with ice cream and milk. I mean basically using a good quality water, maybe some nut milks, add some avocado in your green drink, put some fresh ginger in it, add some nuts and seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds that help um, bring fiber to your body, that will help increasing the bulk, that will help in the elimination pathways, which keeps you regular. So that's another thing. Green drinks, um, as a way of detoxifying your physical body.
So going back to the pepper, I'm glad you said pepper because I love pepper. So I love pepper, but just black pepper and some cayenne, but or not. Yeah, cayenne, just a sprinkle. But is the hotter the pepper that gonna work? Like the hottest pepper is gonna work better than like a black pepper? Do you
Okay,
think?
good question. Here's where the beauty of Ayurveda comes in. Depending on what metabolism you have and what body type you are, um, if you have already a pitta constitution, that means naturally you are quite fiery, you may get irritated quite easily, you find it difficult to skip meals, um, then I would say be aware of how much of pepper and chili or a cayenne pepper you put into your system. So I would say limited amount of pepper, cayenne pepper for a pitta constitution. But if you are more kapha, if you have the tendency to put on weight easily, if you have the tendency of fluid retention, the tendency of feeling sluggish quite easily, the tendency naturally for respiratory allergies, then you can increase the amount of pungency within your spices that you use, which means black pepper and even cayenne pepper can be okay within the framework. So we talked about pitta and kapha. I don't want to miss out about vata.
Well,
Vata is an irregular digestive system. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. They have the tendency to worry. They have the tendency to insomnia. For example, if you talk about imbalances, tendency towards constipation, be also careful or um, careful with how much of heat you put into your system, because the heat dries out the body. Vata by tendency has got dry skin, tendency towards dry, flaky skin. So if you add more heat, then that can aggravate it. However, Vata often can tolerate heat much better in spices and spicy food than Pitta. So you see where the difference comes in depending on your constitution?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty sure I'm Pita, but I think I lost my fire when I stopped dyeing my hair bright red. So I think that was kind of a unconscious symbol for me. But let's get back. There's a question on Rumble that's a pretty good question. Um, they're asking, should one put salt, such as Celtic or Himalayan pink salt, in the water to help the water go into the cells? Do you
Okay,
recommend that?
this is what I'm saying is, I know they're all different theories, but I'm inviting everybody to give it a go without any additives, no
yeah,
lemon juice,
okay.
no ginger, no herbs. Just keep it simple and stick to it for 3 days. Give me or give Ayurveda 3 days. Be religious. No, we are not religious, but be sort of, find your own rhythm in 3 days, stick to it. You will feel the difference and you will not like to miss it. And then what else you do outside of this little sipping of hot water, that's up to you. You can have your herbal teas, you can have your lemon tea, lemon drink, you can add your salt to it, but try to give it a go for 3 to 5 days. You will see miracles can happen.
Okay, I
Wh-
can do that.
Thomas, while we're doing this, should we also avoid drinking teas? Or I don't drink sodas or anything other than tea, but should I abstain from tea as well?
It's up to you, Charlie. I usually, in summer, I will keep sticking to room temperature water, and I have peppermint teas, and sometimes I have cooked a prepare herbal teas, let it cool down. That's fine. But I know in winter I will be much more religious or much more consequent again with my hot water. So you can drink anything else in between. It doesn't matter, but make yourself, commit yourself. At the end of the day, your thermos flask with hot water is empty.
Okay.
Whatever you do in between, you can have your coffee. I don't mind, because we don't want to be fanatic about it.
Okay.
It's all about um, finding a balance. And the beauty with this is that then Charlie and Lisa and everybody else listening, what will happen is you will naturally feel, oh my goodness, I have had a glass of cold water with ice and it really doesn't sit with me very well. Or I have fizzy drinks and I feel like, oh, that's really different. So the hot water treatment does increase your awareness around food, what you put into your body.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the fizzy drinks are very bad for you anyway. I think, isn't
Yeah,
it? Don't they leach minerals from your bones, the CO2 in it?
absolutely. And then, of course, there's the sugar content and
Oh,
there's all the
horrible.
artificial sweetness, and that's another
Yeah.
universe we can open up. So, but I
No.
don't want to. Okay, here's the thing. I don't believe in being fanatic with whatever you do. And there are people out there who have been used to fizzy drinks, who have been used to drinking lots of coffee during the day. I don't want them to feel bad. I just want to give them an invitation to introduce one element of something new and allow them to become more aware and more sensitive, and they will naturally shift to
Yeah.
whatever suits their constitutional type.
Okay.
Um,
Well, oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
and I think I also would like to spend briefly on um, the second one of the other, or actually the biggest detox organ, which is the skin. So body brush is a very, very important way of cleansing your lymph system. And I've got these gloves here. These are made of raw silk. It's important to use raw silk for various reasons because it prevents that the body becomes static and static electricity build up, and it also naturally encourages the flow of the lymph system. So if you um, I have got these gloves that I use, and people can organize them from me, or you're living in the States. Bunyan Botanicals is a very good company. I don't get any commissions, so but I know that that company is very good when it comes to some Ayurvedic tools that you can get these raw silk gloves, and do body brush in the morning, dry body brushing before your shower, which stimulates the lymph. As we know, the lymph system is another detox channel. And if you have allergies, any kind of inflammatory processes, because if you think about what you have described, Lisa, it is very clear that somewhere in the body there is an inflammation. The body is not able to um, to or whatever is happening, it causes a reaction of the body to get rid of an unnatural substance, and inflammatory processes are usually a result of those allergies or anything that you have described. So, where am I going with this is coming back to body brush. Okay. So, and then because we talk Ayurveda, this is also another important tool. This is a tongue scraper. It's
Oh,
a
see?
silver tongue scraper, and I give them to my patients. But again, you have to do a bit of research because this is pure silver. It's about, when I say pure, 94, 95% silver, and then the rest of it is stainless steel. And in Ayurveda, silver has been used as a natural, silver and gold has been used as a natural immune boosting, immune stimulating, or an immune enhancing
Oops. There we
back
Oh,
go.
again,
there you go.
little
We just lost you for a second.
glitch in the system. When I did my internship in India, we used to have every month children from the age of 6 to 16 coming, and they got a special remedy that was made from silver and gold in a specific process. I'm not encouraging this here, but because you need to know what you're doing. But the safest way is using a silver tongue scraper, and as the silver comes in contact with your saliva, particles of the silver naturally over time start to leak into the physical body, which have an immune stimulating, immune enhancing effect. Plus, the tongue is the best mirror for you to assess the levels of toxins in your physical body. And as you do the water cleanse, you will find that more coating is on the tongue, and scraping your tongue will reduce it will take off the toxins, because if you don't take them off your tongue, you swallow them, they come back into your digestive system. And tongue scraping is very good also because the tongue is like a reflex zone. The reflexology, all the different organs are having a representation of the tongue on the tongue. Like the colon is in the very back, your heart is in the center, the lungs, the colon, you can see it. And by scraping your tongue, you have a natural way of stimulating through these reflex zones, you stimulate your detox pathways. So not only is it a simple way to detoxify, but it will also give you a gauge of how much toxins are in the body. Scrape it off your tongue as you do the hot water treatment. That will reduce over time. I have got a couple of beautiful interviews, sorry, a beautiful short video on my Instagram account where I show different tongues, an indication of what that means, and so on. So if people are interested, just go to Müller Thomas, Mullertomaz on my Instagram account and just scroll down. There are lots of beautiful um, short tips on tongue scraping and the benefits of it. I
Okay.
also want to cover.
Your link tree is, can they find it on your link tree as well? Your Instagram account?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's in
So
the
all of
description
the
below.
links are on the link tree, and I'm just aware of time, but I will go and also talk about
Well,
a safe,
real quick,
a safe,
Tomas. I
yeah.
don't want you to cover a lot on this topic, but for the tongue scraping, I know you have to use sesame oil. Is that correct?
That goes into swishing, oil swishing, which is another way of cleansing and detoxification.
Well, don't go
So,
into that in depth, but just can you tell me the proper way to, like, should I do oil first and then tongue scraping, or tongue scraping and then
okay,
oil?
okay. So what you do is you scrape your tongue, you brush your teeth, and then you do the oil swishing afterwards. So you
Ah,
take a tablespoon of cold pressed, good quality sesame oil, not the toasted sesame oil that you use for cooking, organic, cold pressed sesame oil, put it in your mouth, swish it around, and I do it while I have a shower. So 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes as you do your morning routine, and then spit it out and wash your mouth with lukewarm water. That's another way to pull out the toxins, because the mouth is a breeding ground for bacteria, viruses, and everything, and that pulls it out. And if you don't look at oral hygiene, it's like a drip that constantly feeds back into our body, which compromises immunity, which compromises our detox channels.
Yeah.
Um,
Now,
Also, yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I think what is a safe herbal combination or Ayurvedic remedy to use is Triphala. It's spelled Triphala. And again, for the guests that are in the States, go to Banyan, what's it called?
Bunyan Botanicals.
Yes, thank you. Banyan Botanicals. A Triphala is a formulation of three different fruits. It's Amalaki, Haritaki, and Bibitaki. Amalaki is Indian gooseberry, and it comes in the form of capsules or tablets, and you can take a couple of them in the evening before you go to bed, which cleanses your liver, supports the detoxification. It's very good, and it's pretty safe to actually use Triphala. Make sure you have got reliable source. Don't buy just in some kind of Asian food store because you don't know the harvesting. And I trust Banyan Botanicals, and there are a lot of companies within Europe and the rest of the world. If you do a little bit of research, we will find a very good quality of that. It's another way of supporting detoxification. I'm aware. I would like to spend a little bit on um, okay, spend a little bit on fasting.
Yes.
Again, if you are not used to fasting, I would recommend to slowly ease into it. What I mean by that is, even if you have, for example, your main meal around lunchtime, because from an Ayurvedic understanding, lunchtime is an ideal time to have the main meal. I know everything is turned upside down, and I remember when I went to school, my mom ensured that we have a proper meal when I came out of school, and we have something light in the evening to eat. So if we eat late at night, again, our metabolism starts to slow down, which will in fact um, contribute to accumulation of toxins. But if you are finding it difficult to fast, try to have a main meal, I would say no later than 4 o'clock in the afternoon, ideally around 1, 2 o'clock, and then don't eat anything until next morning breakfast. That already is a very good introduction to intermittent fasting. I do, or Dan and myself, we do usually once a week. Monday, we eat the last meal on Sunday night, and then we don't eat again until Tuesday morning breakfast or late morning lunchtime. So 36 hours fast once a week. And I tell you, it's one of the best things that I feel I'm doing for myself. And I've done this for 4 or 5 years. Sometimes the Monday becomes a Tuesday, and sometimes the 36 hours become just 24 hours because I have to gauge how I feel. If I feel tired, if I feel stressed, I may find it difficult to go all the way through the 36 hours. But during that time, when you fast, very good herbal teas. You can have your coffee if you feel like. Try to have black coffee. Um, and sip your hot water. So stick to liquids only. Try to avoid the green drink on your fast because the greens, the leafy vegetables, whatever you put in the green drink, also needs to be digested. So give your digestive system a break. Don't
Okay.
overdo the fasting, especially if you are by nature a more vata constitution where you get dizzy and you feel like um, even for pitta, you feel like you can't be without food for a longer period of time. Try to ease into it. Even 12 to 16-hour fast is wonderful. And that's easily achieved if you have your meal let's say 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and you go until next day. It's a wonderful way to fast. Also, a good day to do a liquid fast, I'm bringing in other elements here, is to look at the moon. It's very good to do your fasting around new moon. Tomorrow is new moon. And also to do it if the new moon falls on a Saturday, that's even better. Because according to the Vedic tradition, Saturday is a very good day for fasting, especially around new moon. So
Mm,
that will enhance energetically the effect of the detoxification through fasting.
okay. Well, so I know we don't have a lot of time, but I do want you to touch on parasites if you could. And then the biggest thing for me is I know that I want to try all of these, but I don't know the proper which order would I do it in? You know, do you do parasite cleanse first, then fasting, then detox, or how? If you could just kind of go into that a little bit.
Okay. Um, I would suggest just start simple, start with your hot water, and start with the fasting. And as you do your hot water regime, as you do the fasting, think about the spices that you use, think about the foods, try to avoid heavy meals at nighttime, all of those suggestions. And then once you have done the fast, you can have, I mean, we don't have time to go into this, but you could have a laxative day, because eliminating laxative day is very good to cleanse your colon. And then I would go into parasite cleansing. There are various parasite programs out there. We won't have the time. And also, it depends on your constitution. But one very good thing to do is use, for example, turmeric is very good to help combating parasites. Use garlic. You can use garlic juice if that feels right for you, but be careful or be aware not to overheat your body with garlic, especially if you have a pitta constitution. Of course, ginger is a very good parasite herb and spice that you can use. And yeah, so in Ayurveda also, and also there are particular um, ways of, when you think about parasites. Okay, I'm trying to add another layer to this. Please forgive me, because everybody knows about parasites, but people may not be aware. Parasites in Ayurveda are called krumis. Okay, and that means, also, the way I look at parasites is attachments. Okay, any energetic attachments are parasites. Think about cleansing your energy field. Parasites can be, for example, if people suffer from addiction, that's very much an indication that there are possible denser energies in the field that could be karmic, it could be related to ancestors, it could be related to trauma. So we have got the possibility of thinking about, um, I do, for example, use hypnosis and look at past life regressions. What are denser energies? What are frequencies in our field that no longer serve us, and they need to be cleansed? And very often, and this is interesting, Charlie and Lisa, what I have found is people can do parasite cleanses. And I'm sure people are familiar with it. You can Google it or find out a lot about it. But if you don't cleanse and remove parasites out of your energy field, it is very likely that they come back within a short period of time. When you
Mm.
think about parasites, think also about fungus. Okay,
I was just going to ask that. Okay.
that takes us to cutting out refined carbohydrates, cutting out sugar, and all of that. And if you do that, the parasites will start to feel very uncomfortable because they have no nourishment. So you may feel like a short term worsening of the symptoms. So, what I'm aiming at here is think broader in terms of parasites. Don't think just about the physical body, think about your mental body. What are parasitic energies? You may have links to past relationships. You may have links to parents where they sap your energy, because parasitical energy is sapping the life force out of you. That needs to be cleansed. And I'm so happy to share with you that I have created these essential oil blends, which is called Divine Defense, which
Oh,
is basically um, comes in two different strengths. There's the classic and there's the supreme. And this is in a deep meditation many years ago, as I was sitting under my pyramid, of course, during 2020. I was woken up in the middle of the night and I felt called to go and sit and meditate. And I tapped into the Merlin fractal of myself. And I literally could hear a voice in my head say, bring this to life to help warding off negative energies from the energy body, to protect people, to cleanse people. And it is basically based on 6 biblical essential oils that have been used throughout history to prevent and ward off parasitical energies. And one of those oils, of course, is frankincense and myrrh, but there are also other very rare essential oils. And I was given in meditation even the number of the potency, which proportions to use for which oil. I wrote it down in my book afterwards, and I haven't really bothered to, in a sense, to look into that until about 6 months ago. I felt this urge: go back, listen to your notes, bring these oils, which is a simple roll on that you can put, for example, in your belly button, around your navel area, because that's the seat of your digestion. That's the seat of your Agni. You can put it on the crown of your head. It helps you deepen your meditation. And I have measured the frequencies of these oils. They sit under the pyramid, and then the supreme is also enhanced with frequencies on the Bovis life force chart. By having the oils sitting under the pyramid, the classic comes up to 10 billion units on the Bovis energy chart
Wow.
after sitting under the pyramid for about 24 hours. And that equates to the frequency of Mount Shastra. So, Mount Shastra, the spiritual energy, direct portal to source itself, and the mountain in itself, with the pyramid frequency and the pyramid energy. And then for the supreme, I add frequencies to it. And guess what? It boosts the bio life force of it to 100 billion units.
Wow. Hmm.
my
And
goodness.
I have had with people sharing incredible experiences when it comes to deepening their meditation practice, but also protecting, because parasitical energies, when we sleep, for example, it's a very good way, unless you sleep under a pyramid. um, it's a very good way for those negative energies to creep in. But applying a drop of the oil on the soles of your feet before you go to bed is a perfect way to prevent and protect yourself from those negative energies. And also, especially frankincense, myrrh, galbanum, and hyssop are very good antiparasitic essential oils. Okay, it's a safe way. There is an entire philosophy and knowledge system built around using essential oils for parasites, but I'm not going to go in there because there are different schools of thoughts. The French fight with the Germans and the English, like what is the best way, and you can't take essential oils internally. I'm not getting into that argument here when it comes to essential oils and parasites, but
But the
very,
belly button is a very important, powerful place to put the oils, right?
yeah, yeah.
Can,
So
can they
and
be used topically, Tomas, elsewhere on the body for, say, a skin fungus or a toe fungus or anything like that? Would they be beneficial for that?
yes, but I would always recommend to do a patch test before. So the interesting part is also the composition of it. When I did the research afterwards, after I had the formulation, and like I said, I didn't pay attention to it. I did look at the composition of the potency of the different oils. It has a very, very strong antifungal, antiviral benefit. But I would recommend, because it is in a base oil, to do a patch test on a sensitive area before you apply it, like especially behind your ear, for example, or if you want to apply it on your toes, if you have got fungal infection in your toe area. But of course, fungus, we need to look internally what else is going on. It's not going to be the only fix, but it's about bringing everything together.
Okay. And where can we
Awesome.
get these, Tomas?
It's on my link tree. If you go into the link tree, Divine Defense, and then you just click the link in there, and then it takes you through the process. And also,
Okay.
I shared the story there of how these oils came about, which I find it's beautiful because there is a story behind. It's not something that I've just cooked up without any deeper meaning of it. And for me, it's the effect of the pyramid, sitting under the pyramid every day, twice a day, doing my spiritual hygiene regime, working with the pyramid frequency and energy that has helped me, I truly believe, to connect to those energies and frequencies. So I'm very, very grateful to both of you for bringing to life the pyramid in a way that you have done. Very, very grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. We actually have a couple comments here. We don't have any questions yet, but we do have a couple comments. Sweet Faith says, "My dogs sleep in my pyramid. It's like it's not even mine anymore."
Yes, absolutely.
And Elements Girl, she has a great comment for you, Tomas. So much simple info here, not overwhelming at all. Some of these things I've heard before, but it's great being reminded. I feel I should integrate more of these. Thanks so much. And that's why we had Tomas on today, because I knew he would have simple, not overwhelming recommendations for us. And that's where we all need to go, because the world is so overwhelming right now. And there's so much good information being shared, but you're just being barfed on, really, with everywhere you go. You have to do this, and this. And then you just get so frustrated. You're like, I'm not doing any of it.
Yeah,
And, I think that's where a lot of us are right now.
absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any questions?
We do have one on Rumble. She's asking, should those oils be used with a carrier oil? And if so, what carrier oil is recommended?
Absolutely. The carrier oil. You can use any kind of base oil. You can use jojoba oil or almond oil, or anything that goes with it. But again, it's about the right proportions of it. And the formulation, like I said, is the formulation that I believe is a very, very good formulation here. But this person can do easily some research. If you look at some of those antiparasitic essential oils, there's a lot of information. But please, I want to make it clear, I am not advising you to just go ahead and go crazy, go wild. You have to know what you're doing. That's why I did my aromatherapy module within my Ayurvedic training more than 30 something years ago. So you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know the quality of the oils. That's another thing.
Mhm.
Because if they're synthetic oils, and sometimes the essential oils are mixed with synthetic oils, you can have easily allergic reactions, skin reactions, and that defeats the purpose of it.
So they can find your assistance and your products on your website. The link's in the description. You can find Tomaz's link tree as well. And then you actually, when you started talking about hypnosis, that would be a great topic for the next time you're on. I would love, because it's so powerful. You know, we're actually all walking around in a hypnotic state, unaware, I think, of most of our lives. And what is it? I think they said 90% of the thoughts or 90% of the decisions you make are from your unconscious mind. So I always say, why do we spend so much time training our conscious mind
Yes,
when we should be training our unconscious mind? We can do
yes,
that through hypnosis, through self
yeah,
hypnosis, and some different techniques that I'm sure you could share with us.
absolutely. Would be a pleasure to do that at some stage. Like, yes, sure.
Awesome. Well, why don't you touch, Tomas, before you go? Why don't you touch a little bit on what you have coming up? If you have different retreats or things that people can join you online if they can't physically, even though you live in beautiful Scotland now and everybody would love to be there with you. Why don't you touch on that stuff for a little bit?
Thank you so much, Lisa, for giving me the opportunity to share that. We have various online circles that people can join. We have a Monday meditation session where I take people through various types of meditations, because a lot of people may struggle to meditate, and I don't believe it is a one way thing. There are various techniques that I share where I incorporate mudras, particular positions of the finger, breath work. So that's our Monday meditation class. We have once a month have online cacao circle. So, and this happens usually on new moon. So tomorrow morning we have our cacao circle, where we tap into sacred plant medicine using sacred cacao as a means to open up your heart and um, to allow us to be grounded, to get in touch with those subtler aspects of our well-being. So there's the cacao circle, and then we have I've got various courses that people can do. I've got the five body alchemy healing course. I've got so there's so much that people can explore, and if they just go to the link in the link tree, all of the different options are there. And we will do again by the end of the year an online weekend retreat. So we haven't sorted out the date yet, but that's has been very, very successful, where we had people all over the world, where we held space for 2 days, um, starting in the afternoon and going on to the morning of the next day, to allow everybody to link in different parts of the world. So that's coming up. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Charlie, any last words from you?
Uh, no, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, I have been meaning to join your cacao circle. I have a big bag of cacao that I bought for my, several months ago. I was supposed to do your cacao circle, and I can't remember what happened, but I am definitely going to be joining. And if anybody wants to get a glimpse of Tomas's meditations as well, he's been with us a few different times already and has performed some amazing meditations with different mudras, different oil recommendations and things like that. Very powerful meditations as well.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Tomas. Any last words before you leave?
No, just to say that if people are not able to join the lives for whatever reason, we have the replay available, and we have Telegram groups for the different groups, the Cacao Circle, so people can ask questions. We have a very strong support network for people and guidance that we offer through the various processes. And the last word is basically, I believe it's important to focus on expansion of consciousness, expansion of awareness, expansion of self. And by focusing on expansion, healing will become a natural byproduct. And that's it for me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome.
Dora Beekman says, see you tomorrow, Tomaz, for the retreat. So there you go.
Laura is just a beautiful angel. She gets up in the earliest hours of the morning to. Oh, was it Dora or Laura?
Dora.
Dora.
Yep.
Oh, Dora's coming for our retreat. Yes, we have a 3-day amazing retreat where we tap into the Merling frequency. So here we go.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, lots of love and many blessings to everybody for being with us today, and for you, lovely Tomaz, as always. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.